Good afternoon and welcome to the Joy Show, the show where being your authentic self is of the utmost importance. Joy is an acronym for just one you. Well, today's an exciting day, but before we go to our guest, I'm going to do our land acknowledgement. I am honored to work, live, and play within the city of Toronto on the historical and traditional territory of many Indigenous nations, including the Anishinaabe, the Wendat peoples, and more recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Haudenosaunee nations. It is now home to many diverse First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island. And by making this land acknowledgement, we strive to be allies and take an active part in reconciliation by honoring the land, the history, and the unique Indigenous heritage. This fosters our commitment to the recommendations set forth by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We recognize our oneness, we realize our history, and we choose to create a new reality. Well, we are coming into the holiday season, and ho, 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 guess who my guest is today? A wonderful, remarkable individual from way up north. Where's my guest? Oh, my goodness. I think he's coming. Ho, 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 Santa.
Hello! How
How
are
are
you?
you?
Oh my goodness, I haven't seen you since you were little.
I'm still little.
No, I mean since you were a little girl.
I see. Well, have you been busy? You kind of missed me last week. I
Oh,
heard the elves were misbehaving.
no, they never misbehave. It was just we had a jam up in the Lego section. It was oh, I don't want to bore you with the details. Let's say there was the Star Wars Lego got mixed in with the Guardians of the Galaxy Lego, and it was anyway. It all got fixed. Everything's okay.
So you're on track. Everything's set for the big day.
Everything is set for the big day. That's right. Well, big night actually. Yeah.
And so I'm curious, can you tell how do you do that? How do you do the whole world in one night?
Well, here's the thing. It used to be a lot easier when I started out doing this. Let's see, in the year 300 or so, there weren't that many people. And then fast forward to let's say the 1700s, it was a bit of a stretch. It was still a little bit hard doing everything in one night, but you got to remember it's a big old world out there. So Christmas Eve in one place, you get there and then you still got plenty of time to make it to Christmas Eve in another place, because the world is big and everything, and the international date line and all that. So I was still able to do it in 1700, but Sunday. I'm going to say about 40 years ago, all of a sudden I realized, hey, I'm visiting about nearly 4 billion children. So thankfully, I had a real good connection with Mr. Stephen Hawking. Remember him, the Big Bang guy, the brief history of time, and he owed me a favor. So
Okay.
he came up to the North Pole, and we sat down, and basically we devised. He devised. I'm making it sound like I had something to do with it. I didn't. He devised a way that by finding a rip in the space-time continuum, and which allowed me access to black holes and alternate universes. I was able to then do everything in the space of the Christmas Eve. I'd show you the PowerPoint presentation, but all in all, it's a 10-day presentation. It's very long, very
10-day
long.
presentation showing how you do it all in one
That's
night.
right.
So,
How am I
so
looking here?
well,
My
you're
hat
looking
is a
good.
little
You're looking pretty
askew here.
handsome for a guy who's been around since 300.
Yeah, not bad. Actually, I was born in the year 270. Which means
Wow.
I'm 1,752 years
Means
old.
you're old.
Pardon me?
It means you're old.
No, 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 no. I'm ageless. I'm
Oh,
ageless.
ageless,
Yeah.
ageless.
Young at
So
heart. You never age a day in your life. Of course, moisturizer as well. That helps.
oh, that helps, that helps.
Yes.
So what's going on with the kids this year? Like, what is exciting to them? What are they looking for? What are their hopes and dreams?
Well, I'll tell you, I've had the opportunity to spend some time with the kids in person in different cities across the world, because now everything is ready for the big day or the big night. So I have time to just relax and go see the kids. And when you think of it, this is the first time in almost 3 years that the children get an opportunity to visit with me without having to worry too much about it getting too close and I'm not wearing a mask, so it doesn't look as strange to them. And it really is remarkable. These children, it's like they're just they know that this is the first time that they're getting to see Santa Claus. Well, they know that, but there's an extra joy there. There's an extra joy in knowing that, wow, I can go up and high five them, and and there's just it really is remarkable to see the the joy in the little one's eyes, because
Nice.
even if they're 4 or 5 years old, or 3 or 4, this is kind of their first real visit with Santa. Normally, their first visit with Santa is when they're 1 or something, but the we don't really think too much about that because it wasn't the same kind of visit. So
That's true.
they're
That's true.
getting to see me, like you did when you were little, and they're really reveling in that. I find I'm
Oh,
getting,
that's nice.
oh, it fills my heart. They'll come up and they've got the big smile, and they come and give me a hug, and oh my goodness, it's just the best. It's just the best.
Well, that's good. Now, how did you get into this line of work? I'm curious about, how did this get started?
Well,
You're living your authentic
well, now
truth,
we're going back to the year 270. I was born in Ankara, in Turkey, and at when I was a little one, about 10 or so, I realized that there were a lot of poor people that weren't as fortunate as I was. So what I wound up doing was I started leaving anonymous presents. Gifts of food, gifts of clothing outside their doors, because for me it wasn't so much. I didn't need them to know I had done it. I just wanted to make sure they were well looked after. And,
hmm
and and that's when I started realizing, oh my gosh, that's where the magic is. I mean, don't get me wrong, getting presents is the best, but giving presents, oh boy, that's where the magic is. And I just got a taste for it, and I've just been doing it ever since. Not gonna lie to you. I mean, in the last so 300 years, I've been focusing mostly on the children, but it that's where it all started. Sharing what I had with those that had less. So,
Oh, so
and then it became
practicing.
just a great idea to just continue doing that, but also giving some to the kids, making them smile. That's what keeps me young. It's
So practicing random acts of kindness and senseless beauty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to say I came up with that, but I'll let others decide that. But yeah,
You'll let
it's a
others
beautiful
decide.
thing. Random acts of kindness, and a sense. What was the other thing? You said it so well.
Senseless beauty.
Senseless beauty. Yeah. By the way, coincidence. That's the name of my racehorse. Senseless beauty. Did pretty well this year. Came in sixth in the Preakness, so that was okay. That was good.
Oh, okay. Well, didn't know
But I
you had
mean, that's what
racing
it's
horses,
all
but
about. It's there is just a wonderful uh, feeling that comes over you. It's not even a feeling, it's a way of being when you just give of yourself, because you would think that you would think that, oh, I can't give too much because then I won't have enough for myself. It's not the case. It just, you you give of yourself and you get tenfold back. That's the way I look
That's,
at it.
that is absolutely true, that as you give, so shall you receive and
That's right.
multiplied.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I didn't
can't,
come up with that one, but
no?
I think that's
Oh.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's right too. I think, and that's one of the things I love about this season is for this season, people seem to be a little kinder to each other, a little more patient and forgiving. It feels like people are a little happier at this time of year. Would you say that?
I think so. I try to remind folks that do that year round. I mean, uh, it doesn't take much at all. It's just a question of looking at your fellow person as just another you.
Yeah.
And why not be kind to them? And because you're being kind to yourself, we're I think it was Mr. Holmes had said that, not Sherlock, Ernest. Very nice young man. I mean,
Mhm.
I enjoyed speaking with him in the day, and he said we're all one, and I was always impressed by him. He would, like yours truly. He believed that we're all the same. We all want the same thing. We want to love, we want to be happy, and we want to be at peace.
Oh, exactly. So if you were to give, a message, now probably most of my viewers are adults. Now they might share this
Of
with the
course.
kids, but most of them are, I'm sure, adults. So what would be one message that you think would be really important for them to hear at this time of year or at any time of year?
Breathe. Breathe. My goodness. I mean, it's that's what it's so many, they come to see me, and when they want to get a picture with yours truly, which I'm always flattered that they still want to get a picture with me with their little ones, but they're so worried about getting the perfect picture, and they got, you can see it in their shoulders. They start getting very tense, and the shoulders are almost up to their ears, and I tell them, no, no, relax, relax. The
Mhm.
pictures will be great no matter what they look like. Everybody's shooting for that picture where, all the kids are looking straight down the barrel at the camera, kind of like this. But the reality is, most of the time, what you're going to get is one of them is looking at their shoes, another one is looking up at the lights, and the only kid looking right down the barrel of the camera is crying or not smiling. That's the picture that in years from now will give you the most joy. So revel in it. Plus, bonus, that's the picture you show at their wedding day. Yeah. And I also inform them, the mums and dads, along with the relax, breathe, enjoy the moment because it goes by so quickly. Here's the other thing, they have an advantage over generations past of parents, in that their phones, these smartphones, the cameras they have a setting on it where if you just keep your thumb on the shutter, it takes about 1 million pictures in a second anyway. So somewhere in there is going to be a really good shot. So I think in
Absolutely.
general, it's just, just live in the moment, see the beauty, remember, remember to see it through your children's eyes, or if you have little ones in your lives, or nieces or nephews, or even if you don't, just just try to take a moment to just breathe and look
Breathe.
around you at the lights and the decorations, and just remember that it's this is a wonderful time of the year. It brings back such fond memories for a lot of us. For some people, it doesn't. And I'll be the first to admit a lot of people have come up to me and said, it's a very hard time for me at this time of year, Santa. And I say, I completely understand. But try to do this. Try to be try to be thankful for everything you've got. You know, whatever happened in the past is the past. You can't change anything about it, so why worry about it? So I just take it one day at a time, and breathe, and
Well, that's the important thing, is to just breathe and relax and to know that's sage advice from Santa. And we've got a disconnect, the joy of the North Pole. The internet isn't always the most stable. So hopefully he'll be right back. The message that he's sharing, though, the idea of breathing, you think, but I'm doing that all the time. But the truth is that often we're holding our breath, we're holding on to that, and the idea of breathing and taking that time is so important. I was just telling them, Santa, that
yes,
sometimes the connection at the North Pole is a little wonky.
you know. I'm just grateful we can do this. I mean, hang on. I'm just gonna do a thing here. I'm gonna what? There we go. Do not disturb is on. There we go. Get rid of this here. There.
Well, you probably have all those little kids who no longer send letters, they probably send emails.
To the
No?
contrary, they still send me tons of letters. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And
How
by
do
the
you
way,
get them all? How do you open them all up? Like,
well, I've got a whole team of male elves, not MALE elves, male MAIL elves. They open it up, and yeah, I don't want to brag, but I'm a pretty fast reader. So yeah, I managed to get them all read. If they take the time to write,
mhm,
I'm
yeah.
going to take the time to read them. And here's my
Oh,
address:
nice.
Santa Claus, that's me, North Pole,
North Pole.
Canada, and oh, the postal code, HOHOHO. Get it? Ho ho ho. To the viewers who didn't think that was funny, I don't blame you. That's what we call a Santa joke. It's pretty well the same as a dad joke. Pretty well on par.
Oh, okay, so they're right along the same lines there.
Yeah.
So,
But just to come back to what you were saying about, uh, we were talking about just enjoy the season and try
mhm,
to remember to just do that year round. I
mhm,
know these are, we always say these are challenging times. They've always been challenging times. There's always been a reason to say, boy, I remember when it used to be a lot easier. These are such tough times. There's always challenging times, but that
yes,
doesn't mean we can't just enjoy the good that we have in life. Be grateful for
yeah.
what we have in life. Be grateful that I've got a team of 9 reindeer that are not only fantastic and ageless, but know how to fly. Oh
I
my
know, how
goodness!
cool is that?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting as we get to know you a little bit and find out more about you. Now, you really do like your milk and cookies, like, for real?
uh, yeah. I don't like this tone of incredulity you have there, young lady. Yes, of course I like my milk and
Well, I'm
cookies.
vegan, so
Well, I mean, uh, oat milk is perfectly acceptable as well. Almond milk, soy milk, coconut milk. Whatever they put out, I'll drink it. Yep.
You'll be grateful for it. So tell me, here's something that kind of I'm not in agreement with.
Although I
So
draw
we'll
the
just
line
hear.
at rice milk. Rice milk, that's pretty well just water with chalk in it. Anyway, sorry, I want to get
Okay,
that out
well,
there. Yeah.
so what about the naughty and nice list?
No such thing. It's a rumor that was started years ago. I don't know. I can't say by who, but there's just a list. I just have a list of all the boys and girls and everybody I bring presents to. There's no naughty or nice. They're all on the list because let's face it, we all make mistakes. But that doesn't mean that we have to all of a sudden be known as naughty and live in fear of not getting a present or not being loved or being looked at as no, you have to be good, stop being naughty. We all make mistakes. So I don't know where this started. I mean, the whole idea, it's ridiculous. The whole idea that if you're nice you get a present, and if you're naughty you get a piece of coal. First of all, if we were going to go on the assumption that there's a naughty and nice list, all right, and let's say you've got, well, it's right off the top of my head, let's throw out a figure there. On the nice list, you've got, let's say, 75%. And then you've got, let's say, that would mean that the other 25% are all naughty. All right. So now we're talking 3 billion children, 25% of the 3 billion. I don't know. It's got to be at least a billion. A billion pieces of coal. Do you know how heavy coal is? I mean, even if the list existed, I could never get around. It would be impossible to carry all that coal. Plus, think of all the white gloves I would go through. Anyway, I'm sorry to go on like this, but I'm glad I've got the opportunity to just put an end to this rumor that there's a naughty and nice list. There's just a list.
Well, I think you've said that quite emphatically, and
Thank you.
hopefully everybody's listening. So do not tell your children that they're on the naughty list because it
No,
doesn't exist.
it
There
doesn't
is only
exist.
the nice list. Well, the list.
The
We'll just call
list,
it the list.
exactly. I
Yeah,
mean,
we don't
granted,
have
it
to
makes for
label
great
it.
songs, like oh, what's that one? Oh, I am coming to town. You know, he knows if you've been sleeping. He knows when you're awake. No, I don't. I don't. That's creepy. That's just weird. No,
That's just
no.
weird.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break
All
and
righty.
we will be right back with Santa Claus. So don't
Okay,
go
doke.
away. You're watching The Joy Show. watch me change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Well, you're watching The Joy Show, and I am so excited to have the man of joy himself, Santa Claus. Ho,
Yes,
ho,
Claus.
ho. Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
All is well. So, what is your, like, if you had a, a great hope for humanity, what might that be?
Um, well, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I think it's what I already shared with you. It's just that realize everybody we just have to n- know that we're all the same. You know, we are all one. We all want the same things. We want to love and to be loved, and we want peace. That's my. It's it's more than a great hope. It's a great knowing. I know we can do it. I know.
So, as we're coming into 2023, and there's been so much change in our world the last couple of years with COVID
Mhm.
and all of this stuff, is there something you think that we could do differently as the human race to actually correct things? Like, our planet is warming up, and there's just lots of challenges. What do you think we
Mm.
need to do to fix some of this? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think I'm any different than anybody else that has spoken on the subject, but uh, we're not in this alone. You know, uh, uh, we all have to do our part. Uh, what is the saying? Be the change you want to be,
Be
right?
the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So if let's look at climate. Uh, do what you think you can to help. For example, we we now are big recyclers up at the North Pole, have been for about 30 years now, and we make sure that as much as possible we reuse materials to then be used for something else. I don't want to bore you with the details, but I think whatever it is, uh, do take a step in a positive direction. Whether it's making maybe riding your bike a little bit more if you can to get to where you're going, or take transit, or any other. Sometimes we think, oh, it's just too big. I can't do it. So, well, of course, yeah. You can't change the whole world, but you can make your little part of the world a little bit better. And I can't help but think that, if everybody does that, or if enough people wind up doing that, then you hit what's that called? A critical mass, right?
Yes.
And then the change will come. And that goes for everything. I mean, this is the great thing about doing what I do. I mean, I like to make the difference between there's Christmas, which celebrates the birth of Christ, and then there's the other Christmas that everybody gets to share in. That season of good feelings, and of sharing of ourselves, and giving and receiving, and more and more. This is what I love now. No matter, it used to be that when I would go out there on Christmas Eve, I'd go, and you'd go and Canadians were in Canada, and Americans were in the U.S., and you would go, and the South Asian people were in South Asia. But now, in Canada, for example, you have people from all over the world in one place, and they all come. When I was just in Toronto just for a few days and meeting with the children, and I saw children and moms and dads from all over the world that live right here, or they they live in Toronto, but their parents or themselves, they came from other parts of the world, and although they might not participate in the religious side of the religious rituals and celebration of Christmas, they still enjoy the fact that we can celebrate this wonderful feeling of being joyful that we're alive right now, and this season of joy and giving and loving, that is universal. So
It is.
I think we just have to remember that that's what's going to get us through any challenges. I think it's what's gotten us through any challenges in the past, is just knowing that we're all the same and we all want the same
Mm.
thing.
Yeah, I think the basic needs that we have are all the same, food, shelter, love, gratitude, all those.
Yeah,
We want to be happy. I think all
yeah,
of that is the same. And then the things that make us different are actually the things that create interest.
of
I
course.
love that, I mean, if everybody looked like you, we'd be living in an odd world, all of
Well,
these
it'd be a
white
darn good
beards.
looking world, I think.
Oh, it'd be, yeah, a really good looking world.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure that I want that beard and stuff, but
No, 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 no.
it looks
That's
good
well,
on you.
to each his own. To each his own. That's the thing. If you want a beard, grow a
Yeah.
beard.
I tried. It didn't work so good.
Eh,
I only got a little fluff here and there, and
no,
I
yeah.
waxed that.
Plus, you've got wonderful cheekbones, if you'll allow me. So you wouldn't want to cover those. No, I understand. Yeah. Hey, you still have the same laugh from when you were a little girl.
Oh, that hasn't changed. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my god. Do you still have that spirograph set I brought you when you were little?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was probably 9 or 10, I think, when I got that. I remember the Barbie doll you got me, when you got
Oh,
me that.
that kids are still asking for the Barbies. Yeah, the
Well, can you
old
blame her?
they still ask for toy trucks and Hot Wheels. I'm running into more and more generations of. I see that the boys and girls come with their dads and moms, and I'll see, for example, with the Hot Wheels. The little one will say, "Ooh, I want some Hot Wheels."
Hot Wheels for Christmas. Well, that's a toy that's been around for a really long time. I remember buying them for my sons when they were little, and they're grown adults now. So, and again, we're, just running into that challenge with the North Pole internet. But I'll tell you, it's been pretty good to be able to do this much of the show and have Santa online for all of it. I'll tell you, I should have invited him into my home. That would have made it a whole lot easier. Oh, and here he's coming back now. So,
Hey,
oh, you're back. I was just mentioning that I bought Hot Wheels for my boys when they were little.
there you go.
Yeah.
And the little ones are still asking for it. You get every year you get the new line of toys. Like this year, Roblox, very very big. Hatchimals, they've been big for a few years now. LOL dolls. Ooh, Paw Patrol. Ooh, that's
Paw
big. That's
Patrol.
big. Very big.
Well, I know what that is. The other things I haven't got a clue. But what about, older people? Do you find that you get adults who are excited to see you as well, or is it
Yes,
just
all
kids?
the time. And I get excited too because I mean, they come with their little ones, and then I look at them and I go, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you since you were little." And that's always a thrill when we get to catch up, especially with the nanas and the papas, So much has happened to them since I saw them when they were little. They've got they've got their children and their grandchildren, and um, I'll tell you, sometimes people, no matter, they might come in and they're thinking, okay, well, okay, your kids go see Santa Claus, and the minute they realize that I remember them, they light up. They light up because they go, oh my gosh, he remembers me. And I think they get to be kids again, which is
Yes,
just wonderful. It just
which
warms
is
my heart because, for me, when they grow up, it's a blink of an eye for me. When 1,752 years old, it goes by so fast. But I love when I get to see the older, I call them older kids. When I see the older kids, they get to realize, well, look at the old guy still around and he remembers me. And
that's
most
so
of the
true.
time, it's big smiles and everything. But sometimes I had a friend from Mexico. He came to see me. I was visiting the children at Casaloma here in Toronto, and he came in with a group of friends. They were all traveling from Mexico, and he came to sit. I would say he was I would say a gentleman in maybe his 50s, early 60s, and he started crying. He was so happy to see me, and I was.
That's
He
gotta
had
feel
never
good.
gotten to see me when he was little, well, one on
Uh,
one, and this was his first time, and he was very, very happy. Happy, tears of joy. He was very, very moved by that. And
oh,
I tell you, that was special. It's just
that's a
proof
special
that,
thing.
it's just more proof that what counts in life is finding joy in every single moment when you can. Obviously, there's times where things aren't joyful. But the thing to remember then is, it won't last. It'll pass. And to just be grateful for what you've got. You know,
I
that,
think that idea of gratitude is so important because we all have something to be grateful for.
of
I'm on
course.
this side of the grass today. There's something to be grateful
That's
for.
right.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
woke up this morning,
Yeah.
like that's something to be grateful
Yep.
for. And
Exactly.
sometimes we have to just, I'm breathing in and out. Okay, I'm grateful for. Sometimes we have to start small if it's a particularly rough patch.
Yep.
But that gratitude just seems to draw more good to us, which is what we're seeking.
That I like the way you think. You're a pretty smart cookie.
Oh, I probably learned it from you, Santa, because I would come and see you when I was little.
Uh-huh.
And
I remember.
sometimes I would try to stay up late at night to catch you coming in. Now, I do have another really serious question.
Okay.
How do you get into the houses?
Well,
Some
of
of
course,
them
there's
have
the
chimneys, and I don't know how you get that down a chimney. And
pardon me.
then some don't have chimneys.
All right. Well, first of all, let's. You're right. You're right. Not every house has a chimney or a fireplace. But while I'm thinking of this, let me just talk to the folks out there that got chimneys. All right. Uh, Hello, my friends. Ask Claus, Santa to his friends. This is a personal appeal from me, yours truly, Santa Claus. If you have a fire in the fireplace, wonderful. A wonderful way to keep the house warm. I agree 100%. And of course, it looks fantastic. But on Christmas Eve, the last person that goes to bed, please remember, put the fire out. All right. I got enough on my plate coming down the chimney. I don't need to land in a fire. Okay. I got enough on my plate without adding hot cross buns to the list. Anyway, okay. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do that PSA, if you will. Public Santa announcement, I call it. Um, as far as the other houses, again, I go back to Mr. Professor Hawking. He showed me a way to. We're all made of these tiny little particles, atoms and molecules and quirks and quarks. And he showed me a method where I could, if there isn't a chimney, which, let's face it, is the quickest way in a house, but sometimes there isn't. Sometimes there's only a vent, or there's a little tiny crack in the door between the outside and the inside. No matter. He taught me a way that I can just sort of not disintegrate, but have every little bit of me become separate for a minute, and that I know we're all still one. And then we all the little bits of me take a big breath, and then we exhale, and then we just go right through whatever space it is. And on the other side, we all come back together, because, like I said, as you know, we are all one. This is just a very, very subatomic way of proving that point. And then whoosh, I'm in the house.
So a little bit like Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's more beam me through.
Beam me through.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here's another technical question for you.
Alrighty.
You got this white beard, you got these white gloves, you got this white hair,
Thank you.
white trim on your suit,
Mhm.
and you're going down all these chimneys.
Yep.
What does Mrs. Claus have to say about the color of your suit when you get home?
Well, first of all, that's if you allow me, I think that is you're being very gender specific there. That only the missus would be worried about what I look like. I take pride in how I look too, and
Okay.
I'm very lucky. We have a very good dry cleaner up at the North Pole. Very, very good. Yep. Ecologically friendly. He's great. Yeah.
And that's how you clean your soot off your
The
clothes.
next day, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's the
Okay.
benefit of nobody seeing me on Christmas Eve, because I don't look nearly as good as I do now. Because I'm going to tell you a few light years into the whole, and after going through one or two different black holes on Christmas Eve, I'm going to be the first to admit that I'm looking a little clothing wise, maybe a little worse for wear, but nobody sees me anyway, so I don't have to worry about the way I look.
Okay.
But yeah, it's we're very lucky. We've got a very good dry cleaner up at the North Pole.
Nice. So what about your reindeer? Like, you know, I've seen moose and elk and deer and stuff like that, and uh, I have never seen any of them fly, and I have never seen any of them, hooked up to a sled. Like somehow it doesn't seem like these big animals could actually lift off. So what's this with the reindeer and the sled thing? What's
Well,
that all?
first of all, they're a special breed of reindeer. Not all reindeer can fly.
Mm.
These reindeers, they have. It was explained to me a while back. For a long time, it was a mystery. I didn't understand. But genetically, they are. They're some of their chromosomes are helium based. So right away, that allows them to fly. And also to maintain their flying capabilities, they're fed a strict diet of 40% grain, 40% vegetables, and 20% helium as well. And so that explains how they why they are able to float. How they fly, that's a whole other thing. So first of all, if you ever take a look at reindeer. As you know, their four hooves get going, and they can run very, very fast. But with a flying reindeer, of course, at the beginning, all four hooves are grabbing at the ground. Of course, kind of like this, kind of like this. And then if you look closely at the back hooves, then what happens is they start spinning around. They create what they call a turbine action. And then before you know it, the back the back legs start going up like this, and then the power comes from the back legs, but also the forward momentum comes from the front hooves grabbing the air in front of them, and that's how they fly.
Well, that's pretty fascinating
We're
stuff.
resolving a lot of mysteries today, aren't we?
Well, that's part of what I like to do on this show is get to know my guests a little bit and how they do what they do and why they do what they do and some of the tools of the trade, and those are the tools. So,
Yep.
one more technical question.
All right.
You've got approximately 3 billion kids on the planet,
Yep.
and you've got toys for every one of them.
Well, toys, gift cards,
Okay.
video
And
games. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you've got a sled
Yep.
that's going to carry all of this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you carry all of this on one sled?
All right. Here we go. Well, so like I said, all of the majority of the toys have already been chosen and put on the sleds. That's right. You just heard me. Sleds, plural.
Sleds.
So,
Okay.
starting about the end of November, that's when the reindeer and I start flying the various sleighs, and I deposit. We sort of not deposit, but we land and keep a sleigh in. Ooh, there's about, I'm going to say, well, now we're about at 30 black holes. So so then I not everything has to fit on the same sleigh. So I leave, for example, there's the Ursa Minor black hole. I leave one sleigh at one end and another sleigh at the other end. So it's a question of zipping in, leaving the empty sleigh there, and then picking up the full one, and then going through the black hole, and then delivering all the toys, and then coming back to that one. And of course, there's that full one there. Leave the empty one. I could go on, but that's basically it.
Okay. Well, that is not at all what I thought.
You thought you'd trip me up on that one, didn't
I
you?
thought I
Excuse me.
would
You thought
get
you had a
you.
gotcha question for the old
I,
man.
I really, really thought I did. Okay, so we know your reindeer.
Yep. Dasher,
Um,
Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donder, and Blitzen, and of course Rudolph.
so now the story of Rudolph,
Yes,
is an interesting one. And
there is.
um, can you tell us a little bit more about the history of Rudolph? I mean, we've seen the TV shows and stuff, and we've heard the song.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how
What would you like to
truthful is
know? Hey, there he is, right there at the top of the screen. There's my boys and girls.
that? There they
Except for
are.
Rudolph, the others I've had the others for about 600 years now.
And you've had Rudolph how long?
About 80,
Oh, okay.
80
Okay.
years.
So
Yeah.
so tell me the story of Rudolph, because I don't believe the media, sometimes they skew things a bit.
That's a good word. I like that. Skew. Well, let's see. Rudolph, going back, his father was of Austrian descent, and his mother was Swedish. And her mother uh, fed exclusively on grass, the tundra up in northern part of Sweden, and the it's very close to the ground, but there's plenty of it, very nutritious. And in the summertime, she would eat exclusively a diet of fireflies, and eventually that amount of phosphorescence, which are found in fireflies, of course, coalesce into her molecules in that, and and it would for her, the light would come out the end of her antlers. So that's grandma, and then Rudolph's mom. The light came out her eyes, which was a little bit creepy. I'm not going to lie to you. And then, of course, genetically, she passed that on to Rudolph, and Rudolph, it came out, it made for a very, very shiny nose. Right. So that's the story, and you know the rest. You know the rest. How everybody picked on poor Rudolph because he was different, and then all of a sudden there was that foggy Christmas Eve, and then Rudolph is the one that his nose shone really bright, et cetera, et cetera. He saved the day, and then he's the perfect example of we all have something we're really good at. And I'm so proud of the others, of Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donder, and Blitzen, because for a while there, they were not too nice to Rudolph. But when they
Oh,
saw, well, look at that, he saved the day. And what we thought was a weird thing was something that only he can do, just like all of us. We all have one thing that we're really good at. And
well,
I don't know. I'm going on and on. Did that answer your question?
well, it did, and it really sort of moves into something that I teach, and that is that every single person is created unique and special,
Yep.
and it's essential that we give whatever our unique gift is into the world because we're the only ones who can do it in the way that we do it. So it's
Wow.
very essential.
That you said that very well. You should do talks about that.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I
Of course, I
do.
know you. I've been following your career for years now. I saw. I was so happy that when you decided to follow your dream and go to Toronto and start a center for spiritual living there, and then you met the funny looking French fella, and the things turned out pretty good for you on that point, from what I understand. No way I
Yeah.
could ever have brought you a gift as good as that.
That was a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one. Yeah, he's definitely a keeper.
Well, and yeah, he's. I gotta say, I like him too. He's a pretty funny guy. You know.
He is a funny guy and quick-witted. He's great at improv and stuff. And, he's actually given me a great amount of joy in the 20 years we've been together.
Well,
It's,
I don't know if you're familiar with. I like to say this to my Mrs. Claus, Marjorie Maureen Claus. It's her. I call her M&M. I call it. I say whenever I make her laugh, I say, gosh darn it, there's no money in it, but I love making you laugh.
That's very similar to what my husband says to me, and,
Really?
you know yeah, yeah, and he does make me laugh sometimes. I think the more we can laugh in life, the more we can play, the more we can celebrate each other. I think that's what makes our world a better place all the way around, and I am just so incredibly grateful, and I'm so grateful that you joined me today, Santa. I'm hoping that everybody who watches this show gets all this new information about the real Santa and, what goes on and how you do what you do, because I know there's some naysayers out there, but we don't want to let them have too much ground because the truth is that you're doing really good work and I am
Well,
really
thank you.
grateful to have met you.
It's all a pleasure. It keeps me young.
That it does. Well, Santa, I'm going to say goodbye to you because I know you've got places to go and things to do.
That's right.
And I'm so glad you're here. And I'm just going to wrap up the show on
Okay.
my own. Have a beautiful day, and I will hear you on Christmas Eve.
But you won't see me.
I won't see you. Bye, Santa.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Barbara. Oh my God.
Well, today's been fun. I think it's always a good idea to have a little bit of fun, to relax, to share a bit of humor, and to take the time to really acknowledge that there's really good things going on in the world around us. And that we should remember to breathe, as Santa said. It's so important to breathe. It's so important to take a moment to be with the children, to be with friends and family, and to appreciate being there instead of being uptight and upset and tense and shoulders up like Santa was talking about. Relax those shoulders and take a breath and maybe do a little bit of meditation and come to a place of deep gratitude for who you are, where you are in life, and notice all of the good that is around you. We really are on a journey, and I like to say that it's a journey without a destination. So we may as well be in it full force, full on, living moment by moment, celebrating the good that there is for us and honoring all of those around us. Like Santa said, sort of, be the change you want to see in the world. I believe it was Gandhi who said that first. And if we do that, we can create a world that is peaceful, loving, kind, and generous. I invite you this holiday season, make it one that lasts for 365 days. I'm Barbara Schreiner Trudell. My guest today was Santa Claus, and you're watching The Joy Show. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again next week, 3 p.m. Eastern, The Joy Show. Bye for now.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.